Hey, Robbie. All right, my man. So I wanted to make sure I could get this over to you so that you do have a very clear video that you can go off of with a game plan, and the message is 100% crystal. So we looked at setup, we looked at the movement, the overwhelming sort of conversation that we had was in reference to really two major things. Okay, one having to do with where this club head moved going up in the backswing, and the other had to do with this right leg and really how you loaded the ground. Okay, so looking at initially this takeaway of the club head, what we would say is that you had a movement going back, that the club head worked underneath or inside the hands quite a bit. Okay, and as a result of that sort of early inside approach, the whole golf swing is going to have a certain balance because of that starting point. Okay, so getting the club into position early, as you know as well as anybody, it's an important thing. It gets the arms, it gets the body into a better spot that we can have more control over. So we definitely had a good conversation about how that could be influenced, and we talked a lot about trying to keep the glove hand more underneath the bottom hand, that right hand, in that backswing. So the other conversation had to do a lot with the legs. Okay, so one thing that you can really notice in terms of watching this backswing is that you would have a little bit of right leg movement in this early takeaway and then basically stop it, and it would essentially stay like this the whole backswing. Okay, so as a result of that, we kind of look at your top of backswing position from a lower body standpoint, and it definitely did not look like you really loaded yourself up that well. Okay, most of what you had done there to get the club to the top was upper body rotation driven and then quite a bit of arm lift. Okay, so we did talk a lot about that theme of arm lift and how some of it is necessary. We can't have a swing without it, but we can certainly have a swing with less, and we can have a swing that has more engagement of the legs. If you engage the legs better, you engage the ground better, and as a result of that, we're going to just pick up a ton of benefit. So let's bring in the videos now that showed some progress. Okay, so let's initially look at this down the line one. Okay, so we were doing a lot of these pause drills. We talked about how pause drills give you a chance to really execute that takeaway to your intent. Okay, so what you'll notice with this one is that we're really focusing in on keeping the arms extended and keeping the hands as quiet as physically possible, really. So you look at how this now starts to move back, this feeling of greater width, more arm extension, and quieter hands gets you into a spot where the club head and hands are in exactly the same. They're meeting. Okay, and as you can see here over on the right, that width that we now have gained, that's very different. Like that movement off the golf ball there is a movement that's now driven a lot more by using those stronger muscles that you have available to you, using that lower half to really torque into the ground. The core, man, like I'm sure that your core, your obliques were working a ton harder to get you into this spot right here. It just looks stronger. Okay, so we look at then as you go to sort of work into the rest of the backswing. Okay, there's your top position there. So we've got more lower body rotation. I think that you still can get even more through here in this particular video. Looking over at this side, we'll see as you get to the top, now we're getting into a spot where the legs are looking a lot stronger. Okay, and that's a huge part of this. You know, you getting into a spot that really feels like you've used those legs, you've used that right hip, you've turned into it, is going to help you to start your downswing in a different way. And this is going to be a conversation that we do have is I think that really right now we need to give you time to master this backswing feeling. The next conversation will be all about the transition, sort of the change of direction. And then the next one after that would be kind of dealing a little bit more with what the delivery feels like and what through the ball and even post impact feels like. but kind of you almost need to be able to, as we said several times, you need to be able to do things in order, okay? Because it is too easy to try to get a step ahead of yourself, and then you just forget about what you've been trying to do. So you got to give yourself time to master this stuff right now. And really the big key, the two keys would be, let's really focus in on this takeaway. So again, and you're going to find your own language for this stuff, which is totally fine. It doesn't have to be the same as mine, but this is, from what I would say, is far more extended arms with hands that don't really do anything from address to halfway back. Okay, so you're not rolling the forearms over. We talked about this idea that the right hand stays on top of the left hand, and that gets you into a great spot. From a leg perspective, you're letting that right leg pull back away from that golf ball. The right butt cheek feels like it's going to hit the wall behind you, and you're sort of experimenting a little bit with that feeling of straightening, hyperextending that right knee, and then just flexing it a little bit, just so that you do have that tension, that grip in it. Okay, so super job. Let's put some work into this. If you've got any questions at any point, just fire away. I'm always around. And let's keep you on task, keep you accountable, and get you moving in the better direction. Talk to you soon.